Kia ora, welcome, malai, talofalava, ni hao, sretrikal, namaste. I'm covering off all the groups that are here. 3 years ago, hosted by the Rosebank Business Association, I announced my campaign to lead this great city as Mayor. With the extraordinary support of many in this room, we won that election by a landslide because ratepayers wanted change. It's been a privilege to serve the people on our biggest and best city in our great country as Mayor. I'm pleased to see members of our business and property sectors here, our sports groups here, our big ethnic communities of Chinese, Indian, Pacific people, Maori, they're all here today. We've got environmental groups like Sea Cleaners are here today. And in fact, in South Auckland, we've got Otahu here today, where I'm on the board of the local business association. So, the chairperson wants the photo of me with that. Auckland's not just the Auckland of the past, not just the eastern suburbs. It's a big city. So I'm proud to represent this truly diverse population. Over the last 3 years, we've made some progress, real progress, but there's still a lot to be done. The city has a brilliant future, and as Mayor, it's a job I want to keep doing. That's why I'm pleased to announce that I'm standing for re-election as the Mayor of Auckland on 11th of October this year. In fact, you'll start voting in September, so don't worry too much about 11th. So it's fitting to do it here, at the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron, where I'm proud to be a member, and it's the home of the America's Cup, here on the shores of our lovely Waitemata Harbour, one of the jewels in the crown that makes our city the wonderful place that we all love. I'm asking Aucklanders to back me to finish the job that I started 3 years ago. With experience, leadership and a deep love for the city, I know what it takes to keep Auckland moving forward. I came to the job with experience, but I've gained even more in the last 3 years. Believe me, if you just want to enjoy the perks and functions of the job and do nothing, that's pretty fairly easy, but you'll just end up leaving the sort of mess I inherited. On the other hand, if you want to change things, if you want to fix Auckland, being the Mayor is one of the toughest jobs that there is. To achieve anything, I've had to draw on all my experience and skills. Skills as a businessman and a leader in the public and private sector for, embarrassing to say, over 50 years. I'll be even tougher and better at it this term. Back in my last campaign, I referenced my experience leading Vector to restore reliability and profitability after the 6-week Central City power failure. I talked about my leadership of Transpower to bring the 400 kVA supply line up to Auckland through the Waikato. There was my term as Chair of Auckland Health, where we built the biggest hospital in New Zealand. Still the only one ever finished on time and on budget. I had experience as the Mayor of the Far North in my long career in engineering of roads, pipes and buildings, the very thing that at the centre of the council has been a great help. I announced 5 well-researched policies, which were: 1, stop wasting money. That should be the first policy of every public organisation now and forever. Unfortunately, it isn't. 2, take back control of the CCOs. 3, finish the big projects. 4, speed up Auckland's traffic using low-cost, high-tech solutions. And 5, make better use of our harbour. Good progress has been made on all of these, but much more remains to be done to bed them in, and it won't be easy for everyone. We still manage to waste money at the council and its CCOs. But managers are learning that it's not career enhancing to be associated with dumb stuff like expensive beach stairs at Milford, and wastage gets called out at the council now. On the 12th of December last year, I managed to get a full council vote to take back control of the CCOs. Iki Panuku comes back in-house. Tātaki becomes Auckland Events, and economic development comes under the council control. Most importantly, the government has agreed to legislate so that Auckland Council becomes a road controlling authority just like other councils. The City Rail Link is our biggest project, which I correctly forecast would be over $1 billion over budget. Well, it's finally got the first train through, and it's under pressure to get finished to deliver a positive change to public transport across the city. AT has been slow to move to dynamic lanes and AI integrated traffic control, but the heat is on them to stop doing dumb stuff that the public don't want. The move to give council control will help a lot here. They have been independent for so long, it'll take a bit of a whip to keep them understanding that things are about to change. Lastly, there's been big changes at the harbour. Ports of Auckland have finally become profitable, but it took the threat of sale to make that happen. And the public are loving Brownie's Pool, the cheapest ever pool at under 200 k's. There have been other big steps forward. I walked into a $360 million hole bequeathed to me by the last Mayor, Finance Committee and governing body. In spite of this, we managed to deliver the least worst and lowest metropolitan rate rise in the country. We have set up a long-term investment growth fund using the poor-performing airport shares. We've reformed the emergency management system following the lessons learned from the 2023 floods and dealt with hundreds of flood-damaged homes. The central sewage interceptor has fired up largely on budget. It's a step towards a cleaner harbour. Like sea cleaners, it will be a sea cleaner. We've managed to set Watercare up with its own balance sheet to avoid large water charge increases and lead the way for the government's Water Done Well program. Large events like Sail GP were a success. There's talk of the America's Cup regatta coming back, and a state of origin game at Eden Park is being talked about. But these will need to be funded by the bed night levy. They won't happen without it. And as Mayor, I'm going to get the government to allow it. I won't be rating struggling families just to improve the turnovers of hotels. Visa changes are being sought so Auckland can benefit from the huge trade between Southeast Asia and Brazil. And a strong mayor is required to provide this leadership. These changes, visas, bed night levy, AT control, they all need government action which will cost the government nothing. So there's no excuse but to get these things done. I'm sure that my political neutrality and my own unique friendly style have helped get councillors to support many of the changes that I've driven. A party-driven approach would only lead to a strong left-controlled council. Similarly, my neutrality and well-known kind, gentle negotiating style have helped in the battle with governments of both major parties to get Auckland to be treated with respect. We're a third of the country and 40% of the GDP, and Wellington needs constant reminding in that interminably polite way I'm so well known for, that we won't be buried in their central thinking. There's much more to come which will be revealed between now and election day in October, but I'm all in for the next 3 years. So thank you for your support back in 22 and the support this year and all through my second term. I'd just like to thank my poor, long-suffering wife, Tony, and my son, whose perpetual and sensible advice Tony's kind of caved in and said it is okay. But thanks very much, everyone else. Help yourself to a drink, chat around the place, talk to each other, and I'll take some questions from the media if they would like to ask some.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, who have you had discussions with about being your deputy?
Just come forward and be a bit louder.
Okay, who have you had discussions with about being your deputy?
With the Deputy Mayor?
Yeah.
Well, she is my deputy, and I'm looking forward to her continuing to be part of my successful team.
Yes, sir. Who have you had discussions with about being your deputy this time around?
Well, no, I never have that because we don't know who's going to get in. And there'll be retirements, and so I didn't discuss that until well after I won last time.
Yeah, have you talked to
No, just that's not a discussion until somebody does that. But at the moment, she's quite happy working alongside me. She said that yesterday. Anybody else? Yeah. Come forward. It's very hard to hear you out there. The bar's open now, so give someone else a crack. Well, that's not even a discussion point. It hasn't happened. This is about my success, okay, and me being mayor. So, you got something to say? Okay.
How confident are you in this mayoral election? How confident?
Well, I'm very confident. I mean, if you look around today, I've got all of the big segments that create our population here. I've got the business section, the property section. I've got all the sectors of our ethnic groups here. I've got South Auckland, I've got sports people, and I've got the environmental groups here. So I'm feeling fairly confident about that, because to be the mayor of Auckland, you cannot be the mayor of one suburb. You have to be a mayor of a huge area and a vast range of things and a vast range of people, which is why I called out G'day in 5 to 6 different languages, because that's what my city is.
Going into this next election, is there anything you would have hoped to have achieved already in this term?
Well, I stuck with my 5 things, and I've made progress on all of them, but it's been a little bit slower than I'd hoped, and it's fair to say that the government is not moving as quickly as I am. And so I want to speed the government up while they still are the government, and match the speed at which I'm making Auckland better. Beg your pardon? Well, I think fixing Auckland is something that will go on for generations. As soon as you fix one thing, something else crops up. But you have to have a mindset to fix it and constantly fix things. And so I've fixed a few things. There'll be a few more by the next lot. And the main reason I'm staying in there is to kind of embed this thinking so that not wasting money becomes normal. It's not a shock. We'll stop wasting money. That will be the behaviour.
Is there anyone who you'd be most worried to run against?
I hadn't even thought about that, to be quite honest. Elon Musk.
What do you think about currently already saying Auckland is a more positive leader?
Well, I think that we'll find out who they think is a positive leader later in the year.
What are the list of 5 things?
Well, I think we've, outside those 5 things, we've also had a significant improvement in crime, and that's largely because I had a good relationship with Sam Hoyle, the Auckland thing, plus my feet on the ground thing in Otahu means that you're actually in the ground. You can't see crime as something or other which is just a subject you talk about in good circles. But I talk to the people on the street. I own businesses that have had criminal activity, and so that's an area, and I've lived up in K Road, right in the thick of it. In terms of it being general, there's nothing wrong with having generally specific things. Fixing the harbour was general, but I've got the port making money. We've got a swimming pool that I promised to have for nothing. We've got 2 wharves coming back. We're going to tidy up that whole area. There'll be more open to the public. So it's general with specific achievements in amongst it. In terms of the finances, we've now got the Future Fund, which will bring in a hell of a lot more money than we ever got out of the airport. And it's a very good thing. And I managed to get people voting for that right across the council. Quite a lot of people in the council didn't really have any much business experience, but they could see the wisdom of that. And that was voted for across the, even those whose initial thing is sell nothing, they voted for it because it's so sensible. So just being sensible that's a general thing too. But if you're sensible all the time with money, it's amazing how good it is.
We've still got a lot of road cones.
We have a lot of road cones. We have some really stupid works going on. There is a huge amount of pressure on them to stop that. What I did with the road cones is we commissioned a report which we gave to the Minister of Transport that showed that the legislation they passed was inevitably going to produce a lot of road cones. And because Wellington passes things without actually understanding what they've agreed to. The word safety comes up and they go, oh, like that, not realising what it did. And so there is amazing pressure. We are now actually recovering road cones. Just last week, the Chief Executive of AT issued a statement that they will not be automatically granting lane closures. Of course, the next day there was 2 lane closures outside my office that he didn't know about, but it's a step in the right direction. No, they do some things which I will reveal shortly that they were asked not to do specifically. And they went ahead and did them. And they are annoying people in huge numbers. We've had several occasions where they've agreed not to do things. You'll be getting the examples loud and clear in the next couple of days. I'll be rolling them out. No, I'm not even going to talk about that. That's not an issue. Talk about Auckland and the big issue. We're not talking about silly stuff like that. Come on, get up. You've got a lot of listeners. We're going to talk about Auckland, the biggest city in New Zealand. We're going to talk about how we're going to grow the economy. The Prime Minister wants to grow the economy. Fix the visas. Pass midnight levy. This is asked for by the industry.
What are the things you've most learned over the last 3 years as mayor?
I kind of knew them all, but they keep reinforcing the same lessons. You've got to get consensus. You know, the mayor's job is get 11, and 11 is not the same 11. And sometimes the 11 is 20, and sometimes it's only 9, and you have to say, well, I've got to go up and think about that. And so it's a consensus thing, and things have got better. It's got easier. I understand the people better. They've learnt that the good things are good things.